coherence of a rules and legal system could be ensured to respect that rule. So you might consider, for example, the lament of the lost power. We have shelf of thousand shelf of case laws, which is quite tremendous and pounding to make us into a loss on the wide scale. And also, you will see another illustration from the views of Lord Chancellor in the United Kingdom. How do you make this rule absolute in this quite changing society? So we now in need of enacting many public statutes which serves the governmental policy, social welfare. They would conservative, very conservative in the context of global legal culture. So the House of Law is the lower one to act as strict code in the United Kingdom. Of course, we have a private council which responds to the matters of empire. Formalistic in some sense, opaque many nations of Commonwealth will achieve judicial independence, and the vestige will still remains in some peaceful way. And they are conservative, and the ethos of judicial people is also very in nobility, so restrictive against the political belief in one stand. They are very conservative to defend the basic virtue of law. So very prudent to get it interactive with public statute. In any case, we also have another wing of thought, the Vendom, who is utilitarian theorist and alleged founder of a public organization. So Vendom considered the role of Congress as intended to deal with the emerging questions of power. So the Congress should be active to enact the laws in as necessary to deal with public issues. So to competing viewpoints in structure about conservatism and progressivism. So in any case, the Lord Chancellor might favor the state decision in any absolute way that could be made very hard and in some cases impossible to hold, for example, rulings from 12th century. It actually is theoretically correct to denote it as a precedent governing the which contains governing power, at least in theoretical. How to divide a modern case law on that basis? So there are probably fairly novel to engraft the modernism the case law which arose from 12th century. So that would be quite extreme. And so the role and responsibility majority of judicial people is very challenging in that sense, who revolves around the state decision. Common law began as the ancient unwritten law of England, but today includes the statutory case law background of England and of the American colonies prior to the American Revolution. The case law of the United States since the American Revolution is a predominant part of our common law, consisting of rules of law announced in separate court decisions. The cases may themselves involve a court interpretation of a statute, a regulation, or a provision in a constitution. Such an interpretation becomes part of the assertive law on the subject and further serves as a precedent in the particular jurisdiction. The case that is referred to as a precedent is a prior case that similar in legal principles when facts to case and consideration. Common law must be distinguished from a statute law, such as that enacted by state and federal legislatures, in areas where legislation has not covered relevant issue or still refer to the common law. The history and circumstances of states differ, which has given rise to differences in common law of each state. So the common law tradition is one of the three major legal traditions in global jurisdictions. The distribution of common law is extensive, as you imagine, by the British imperialism. And most notably, the United States imported the British legal system. In the colonial period, they had experience of colonial law, and what actually the legislature in colonial period is very harsh and in some sense oppressive, as you surmise, since for many reasons they are not civilized. And the mainland culture system was superior. So the principal eyesight is how to organize the state and actually practice imperialism to serve the interest of a governing class. For example, the first president in the United States would be surveyed, and the warrior nobility, and they are generally a wealthy class on commerce and trade, not agrarian class. In that time, the agrarian wealth would be moved over. Actually, so it is a kind of rising class when we see the economic implications of industrial structure, mountain, so revolution. So new wealthy class, typically on commerce and trade, production, is extensive in need, and the legislation may be seen as kind of dictatorship among some verified form of a colonial reality. So the new law would alter all the later laws would govern. That brought some they actually a threat to the settlement of system. So they now spawn some disgruntlement, kind of a wrath against the legislative dictatorship. So the idea could make the constitutionalism more superior to normal legislature. So they now favor to organize the federal union, and they would actually implant the ideas of an earlier British thinker to serve Blackstone. So higher order concept could be instituted. Federal Constitution is very, actually, upheaval, as you see. Okay, we'll have a short break. I'll come back soon. Thank you for your attention.